everyone, multiple times, especially in the last several months since the presidential inauguration of Donald Trump, I have been saying that former U.S. allies need to cut the umbilical cord and basically start approaching the world's problems like U.S. is not there. Well, this headline tells me that EU is arriving at the same conclusion, at least some of the EU members. In this case, Germany. Germany's stance in this whole situation has been actually quite interesting. In the beginning, there was some hesitation, and various German chancellors and high-ranking officials kind of went back and forth, in terms of should we get involved. Somewhere along the way, there was a shift of, wait a minute, what are we saying? We've done this. What Russia is doing right now, we've done this. And remember how badly it ended for us and for the rest of the world. There's a reason we broke up with fascism. There is a reason we decided that being a Nazi is actually a bad idea. So, as the result, Germany became one of the most vocal supporters of Ukraine. Now, there's still back and forth on the long-range weapons and so on, which is frustrating, but that was progress. So the fact that we now see, first of all, the new German chancellor stand up to Trump. I almost said Putin. That would be a Freudian slip. Same diff. And then German generals saying things like, you know what, screw this. We can do this without the U.S. That is a very encouraging sign. And understandable. It should be this way because, once again, a reminder for Europe, this war is up close and personal. This is their front yard. They have front row seats to this. They had pieces of Russian drones and missiles fly over into Poland and Romania. Both had to scramble jets for that. And Russia has been constantly towing the borderline. There were Russian airplanes that had to be escorted away from Norway, escorted away from Finland. So, yeah, that is happening. And that is a reminder to them all why it's important to take a stance and stick to it. And of course, this is still happening. And this is what frustrates me, when people say, that I am spreading misinformation. First of all, prove it. I provide my sources every single day. You can always clearly see where my information is coming from. BBC, Kyiv Independent, Kyiv Post, Censor, Reuters, Associated Press, MSNBC. Here are my sources. Institute for the Study of War. Show me yours. Prove it. But second, if you really don't believe me, if there's literally no source I can provide you with that would convince you that this is happening, go there. Go find out. I don't need convincing. My parents live there. I know they're getting bombed every day. I know they haven't slept in weeks normally. They snatch 2 to 3 hour cat naps between air raids in their 70s. So, if you don't believe me, if you genuinely think I'm spreading misinformation, go there, record a record a bit of coverage and show the world. Meanwhile, people continue to die. While you're telling me that I'm lying, people continue to die. There's been another huge attack, in this case on Kharkiv, and there's now a problem with the prisoner exchange. So, for those who can't remember, on Monday, Russia and Ukraine didn't agree on anything except to continue with the prisoner exchange and to have the bodies of the dead repatriated. So the problem right now is with the flow of information. Russia is saying Ukraine had canceled it. Ukraine is saying, no, we're just postponing it for the next week. That's all we're doing. So I hope this works out, because again, this is no joking matter. And I think one of the worst parts of this whole thing is that this again is causing incalculable, immeasurable damage to Ukrainian civilians, to the families both of the living and the dead, to the families of POWs that are waiting for word of their loved ones, just like my family is, because we have currently a POW in Russian custody, and those who are waiting to get closure to have the body of their loved one brought home and buried in a family plot. So those kinds of games, again, it's the cruelty of it, the callousness is just unimaginable to me. I do not understand how any group of people can be like that. What we know right now from the attack on Kharkiv, that first of all, as per usual, residential areas were struck. At least 3 people were killed. One of them was a 32-year-old man and 2 women. One aged 59, another 86. Also, 22 people were wounded, including a 14-year-old girl and a 1.5-month-old baby. And once again, while Russia says that Ukraine poses a threat to its very existence, explain to me how that girl and that baby presented a threat to Russia's existence. Zelensky is reflecting the sentiments of other Ukrainians when he says that Trump doesn't get it. So remember, yesterday I talked about Trump making the extremely cruel and extremely inappropriate and disgusting remark comparing Russia's invasion of Ukraine and the atrocities committed there to some kind of little schoolyard brawl between 2 kids who just need to fight it out, and he can't understand why they don't like each other. So I think Zelensky is expressing it very well. First of all, he outright called Putin a murderer, because if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, yeah. Second, he stated unequivocally, no, we are not just some kids fighting at the park. This man showed up and he's killing our children. In the recent interview, Zelensky mentioned just one story of one Ukrainian man who lost his family in one of the countless air raids, and he had a chance to speak to this man, and said the man doesn't know any specific statistics. He's not going to, but what he does is wander around his home every day looking for his family that's not there and never coming back. And there are people like that all over Ukraine. And again, we had a soldier in my family who got killed 2 years ago. And now his mother and grandmother and kids are like this guy, walking around to this day, not remembering that he's gone and then remembering that he's not coming back. And again, I agree. Trump doesn't understand this pain. He couldn't possibly comprehend it. 631 children have died so far in this war that we know of. And we have thousands of them that were kidnapped. Plus somewhere between 60,000 and 100,000 Ukrainian soldiers have died. Those are families forever destroyed. Ukraine did not start this war. Period. And people continue to die. More to come.